are Tyrians. We are many races, several professions. We practice the arts of combat as well as healing. We have foes, and we fight them without mercy. And it's time for us to claim back what is ours. It's time for us to claim bacteria from the terror of the elder dragons. We can't go on living our lives in fear. We have to fight. We have to make a stand. This is our story.
Alright, well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 30. That's right, 30 episodes of Chronicles of Tyria podcast, Guild Wars 2 podcast for fans, by fans. Today we're going to be talking about the Mists. I'm going to try to keep it, together and concise this time. So, I guess COT Weekly starts now. Alright, so good evening everyone. I'm Lagwyn. And I don't think Kaysee has sound. Maybe? I don't know.
I just mute so many things so no one can hear me during those intros, and somehow I just forget to unmute everything. Okay. Let's start COT Weekly. Today, a small update was released for the game, but it only fixed minor bugs. It was a fix for bugs when previewing racial armors from other races. It also fixed a bug that allowed players to acquire multiple pets when summoning an ogre whistle. And it also fixed a bug that allowed tonics to be used repeatedly in quick succession.
Alright, and Colin Johansson, as many of you may know, is the game director for ArenaNet. He's been pretty active on the forums, and he made two major posts regarding what we can expect from ArenaNet and Guild Wars 2 in 2013. So one was in response to an Asjenko on the forums, who said, will there be any January-focused blog to detail the changes coming, or the incoming blog summarizing the plans of the first half of 2013 effectively cover everything that's happening in January? And Colin Johansson responded, there will be a blog post in around a week or so that summarizes the high-level plan for the first 6 months of 2013 for Guild Wars 2. Then each of the individual releases for January, February, etc. will have their own release pages on our website, as well as blog posts describing specific, important new features where appropriate. More info coming in about a week once it's all edited and localized. Granted, this was posted yesterday. And his second post, also posted about a day ago. One of our goals for 2013 will be evaluating all the bosses and creatures in the game, from open world to dungeons, try and make them more exciting and fun to fight against. In general, if anything has a really high health pool, it needs to have unique abilities to make it exciting for the entire time, or actually change abilities / tactics as it goes down in health to ensure it stays fun and exciting to fight against. We realize there are a number of bosses in the game, from the open world to instances, that all can be made more fun to fight than they are now. We'll be tackling that this year in a part of our goal to make our core game as strong as possible.
Jason King, a dev who works on fixing bugs within the game, has been posting on the forums and is advising players to post screenshots to the documents when they are experiencing art issues. These issues include getting stuck in terrain or props, textual graphic issues with the environment or world props, terrain or world props disappearing and flickering, anything else that you feel might be an art bug. And he also describes the guidelines for information players should include along with their screenshots when posting the art issues thread, so that there will be a link that will be posted later on. And lastly, in COT news, not really much has been happening this week, but Amy has posted a new addition to her story regarding Amber the Azura, so definitely check that out.
Alright, and that's all from us here at COT Weekly for this week. I'll take over saying that because we know Kaysee has a lot of trouble saying it.
Yes.
So, All right, it's time to get down to the podcast and the shout outs. And as soon as the screen changes over, we're welcoming back our special guest who was a secret, but then she announced it all over Facebook for everybody. So it wasn't a secret at all. Naveen is back.
Was it a secret? I don't know.
If you read our Facebook thing, it says a special guest that will tune in Thursday to see, so that way people have to come back to see who it was.
Oh, okay. It didn't say a super secret special guest, though. So
It has to be super secret.
That down, and super guests have to be called out as super secret special guests.
Yeah, but now I'm just me, Naveen. Hey guys, super stoked to be here again.
Ooh, welcome back, Naveen.
This is gonna be a fun show.
So, thank you for everybody that showed up in the chat. I haven't been looking at it because I've been trying to focus on looking at the webcam, but I've just been seeing my chat just scrolling up continuously over here on the side. So, thanks for everybody who showed up on Twitch TV channel. Once again, COT representing us as usual. So, you can check out anything. I know we just uploaded episode 29 to YouTube. I'm gonna go in and edit some of the text in there to put the links that we said we were gonna put in there, but I'll do that later tonight. Tell your guild, but most everybody here that's in COT, so you can't really tell them to come view the podcast because they already do.
Yay.
If you're in another guild or another server, get more people to come view us. We're sitting hard at 186 subscribers. That Naveen singing video, 14 views away. 14
My
subscribers.
singing video? You didn't tell me I had singing in there involved.
This is you and Dint singing The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Remember? This is a classic video that I've been waiting. I'm sitting on this edited version ready to throw up on YouTube as soon as we hit 200 subscribers.
Oh, this is dangerous.
Naveen's gonna go and start unsubscribing.
Oh yeah. Kick the subscribers.
So anyway, I guess we'll start off with shout-outs. I actually don't have any for this week. I was looking around, I got nothing. How about you, Kaysee?
I've got a shout out for Kiara and Samuro Reaper, because they, whenever I need, and also Lovegood as well, he invites me to a lot of dungeon parties, but when I need someone for like a party, them two always come and help me, and it's really lovely. I feel a lot of guild spirit when like they're like, yeah, sure, especially when you go, yeah, sure, to a Ra. So thank you for coming and trying to do a Ra with me. And my second shout out is to everyone who did a Ra with me, which was our guild COT party. It was fantastic. I just have to like brag about this because we were so freaking awesome. So like I dare someone to best our run, okay? We did it. No like rage quits or anything like that. We did loopy first try, no deaths. Beat it.
Yep.
Don't ask Jal to beat it, because you know he will.
Jal go and beat it because I doubt you can. Unless you're with the same group I was with, there's no way you're going to be able to beat that. Yeah, so thank you for everyone in COT who did that, and that's the power of guilds. We can do it. We can do a Ra.
Alright, Naveen,
You're welcome.
I know you had some shout-outs.
Oh yeah, sorry. I have my
That's
paper
fine.
as usual. I have two shout-outs. The first one is for two people that when I was in game recently, they said, "Oh my god, hey Naveen, I listened to the podcast." So first, let me tell you a story of how I'm currently doing map completion. And it's really interesting because I really suck and I keep dying all the time. So if you guys want to party up, it's just I'm sending you an invitation. Okay, so I was doing not party completion, map completion in the Metrica province, and you know that hard quest where you get in a golem suit and you need to repair little golems. It's like sort of like in a cave and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I hate that one.
Yeah.
It's so long, right?
Yeah,
It's like
way too long.
stupid thing. Can I just get out of the golem suit to just repair stuff? Anyways, I was in there doing my thing, and then there was 5 or 6 people there, and they were role playing. For those who don't know, we're on Tarnished Coast server, unofficial role playing server, and there's a lot of role playing happening. I don't know if you guys see a lot, but I do.
Go to Divinity's Reach.
I know, right? It's crazy. It's full there. Yeah, so I didn't want to like interrupt their thing, so I was kind of like following the edge of the cave where I was, repairing my little golems, doing my thing, and then one of them PM'd me saying, "Chronicles of Tyria," and I'm like, "Yes." Are you talking about a podcast? I'm like, "Yes." So I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." So that was a really cool conversation. Though it was very short because I didn't want to like bother him and his role playing stuff. But here's a shout out to Zane Redent from the guild Night Song Cartel, tag NSC. And if you look them up on the internet, because I'm creepy like that, I look up on the internet. They are on Engine. So if you really like role playing, I suggest you go and over there because they seem to be having a lot of role playing events going. Second people shout out. I was going for, I think it's Crucible of Eternity. I'm not sure. Where's that server place? You know, the one where you have to beat a boss in order to open the dungeon? I think it's
Crystal of Eternity.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I was with my husband there, and then someone was like, "Oh my God, are you from the podcast?" I'm like, "Talking about COD podcast? Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, that's so cool. Okay, later." So, hey, what's up? So the shout out goes to Paul Baratheon from the Shadow Legion, tag TSL. Second shout out that is not people related. Well, not really. It's podcast related. I'd like to say congratulations to Tyria After Dark, who are one of the best rated podcasts on iTunes for Guild Wars 2 currently. So they have more than 100 reviews as of last Saturday. And if you guys have not heard them yet, I suggest you do because they're really cool. It's Nick Sleeper and Caleb Puff and Puff. I don't remember what his new nickname is. Something about him being a hot stuff or something. Um, but they're really good. So go say hi to them. Go listen to their show. Those are my two shout outs this week as my return. Naveen, whoop, whoop. Also, I'd like to shout out everyone who joined Chronicles of Tyria ever since I've was on a podcast and I couldn't say, "Hey, all new people." They're really cool.
We've had
Everyone's
quite a few
so
people.
nice. I love the guild. I really do. It's like super. There's no drama at all. And if there is, you just kick people. You want to bring drama in our guild? No. Kick.
Goodbye.
That's it.
Nice and easy.
Very easy.
All right. So, also, I'd just like to point out that I think one of the reasons people were getting more in people talking about our podcast is because I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Tales of Tyria kind of like just disappeared.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I know for a while they switched to every other week. So it was Tales of Tyria one week, Tales of Araxis, which is their Planet Side 2 podcast, on the other week. So it was alternating. But then like they did Tales of Tyria, Tales of Araxis, I think a Tales of Tyria. No, and that was it. And then it was like the holidays, and then no announcement. And I don't watch the other podcast, so I don't know if he said like we're coming back in 2013.
Right.
So like
That's weird. Because I know that Team Legacy is now starting a podcast too.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be something to do with that. But hey, props to us for being one that releases on a pretty much weekly basis.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it's not 2 times a week because that was.
We'll start
ridiculous.
season 2 off the right foot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
All right. So let's talk topic this week. The Mists kind of was an impromptu topic that came up last week when Kaysee was saying that the Mists is basically what ArenaNet put there to fill plot holes. So that's what we're going to talk about. So I figure before we start, give everybody a little bit of. Uh, sorry. I'm reading the chat. That's my bad. Anyway, so background on the mists for those of you who don't know what they are. So this is directly from the Guild Wars manuscript, which was the instruction manual that came with Guild Wars 1 that had a ridiculous amount of lore in it, and I'm a little upset that we don't have anything even close to that for Guild Wars 2. We just have a disc. What's up with that? Unless you have the collector's edition, then you get all that crazy crap that comes with it. But
Crazy crap.
that's not crap. Crap in like not. Look, I mean, you see that Ridlock statue? That's because I wanted it over there. That's not. You know,
Yeah,
it's not crap.
he's right there on
I know,
my
I
screen.
can see him. And then, oh, he's not on Kaysie's because she's lame.
No, hang on.
Oh, she has the book behind her. There we go. Hey, Ritlock has flowers on him.
I love my flowers.
Right. So anyway, Guild Wars manuscript. Quote. Before there were humans or dwarves, before there were even worlds or the stars that light the night sky, there was but one thing in the universe, the mists. The mists touch all things, kind of dirty. They are what binds the universe together, past, present, and future. They are the source of all good and evil, of all matter and knowledge. It is said that all forms of life, no matter how simple or complex, can trace their origins back to this one place. So basically what I pull from this is the mists is the force. It's everywhere, it surrounds us, it fills us up, it is everything. The mists are the force, but they're also a physical, ethereal location that you can go to. It's the realm of the afterlife for Guild Wars. It's where the underworld is, also the Hall of Heroes. We'll talk more about all this stuff as we get further on. It's where the human gods each have a realm. That's where they used to live, still live. Not really sure. We don't know where they are. They could be just hanging out in their realms.
Hanging out in the realm.
What up? Rolling in my realm.
How would you do the
else
gang symbol for that?
Can we make them mists? Like S-T. We'll work on that one. We'll work on that. So before we get into all the different realms of the mists and stuff that we know, let's talk about the first mortal who ever entered the mists, Lord Audrin. Now, I'd like to point out again from the Guild Wars 1 manuscript. I'm just going to read the text from that because literally we have no other information about this guy. You don't even hear about him, I don't even think, in Guild Wars 1. So if you don't read the manuscript, you just miss out on this guy entirely.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because when I saw his name in the show notes, I was like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
So literally, if you don't have instruction manual for your Guild Wars 1, you wouldn't know about this. Really cool story, a little bit dark, like classic ArenaNet Guild Wars 1 with their dark and horrific stories. But anyway, listen up everyone, here's some more story time for you. Using a spell of his own devising and the sacrifice of many souls, Lord Audrin, powerful arcanist who specialized in the study of temporal distortions, opened a portal that offered him access to the mists and eventually into the rift itself. Spirits who had given their lives to earn access to the hallowed afterlife were outraged. They turned their fury upon their intruder, attacking Lord Audrin with all their legendary collective might. But it had been hundreds of years since most of the spirits had interacted with the physical world, and none of them had ever done so in their shadow form. As powerful as they had been in life, they could not harm the physical manifestation of the Wizard Lord. Not yet. He was untouchable here in the land of the dead, and he traveled freely through the Hall of Heroes. Over the years, Lord Audrin learned to use the rift to travel across the multiverse. And I'll just kind of side note that multiverse, we'll come back to that later. He opened portals on nearly all of the different worlds, turning the rift into his own personal gateway. But though he was clever, the Wizard Lord was himself only mortal. And eventually the spirits of the hall discovered a way to interact with the corporeal world. Audrin's last physical journey through the rift cost him his mortal life. The Wizard Lord was torn to shreds by hundreds of angry souls seeking retribution for his trespasses. When Audrin's mortal body died, the wards and enchantments that kept his portals hidden failed, and the gates to the Hall of Heroes were laid open to all who would find them. The Wizard Lord had been canny, though. Audrin knew that one day he too might be ensconced in the Hall of Heroes, so he hid the portals in the most treacherous locations he could find. The fear of death, he surmised, would keep the meek at bay. But a long time has passed, and it is clear now that the Wizard Lord, like the gods before him, underestimated the greed of men. Over time, the whereabouts of the portals have been revealed. Though they remain difficult to get to, there are those with enough skill and enough bravery to reach them, and every day the numbers of intruders to the Hall of Heroes rises. An unending battle for supremacy rages inside the hall. The spirit inhabitants have taken to playing groups of mortals against each other for sport, placing bets on which will make it farthest and giving special aid to those they favor. Control of the hall itself has its rewards, and its costs as well. And story time. So, I just want to point out that they mention a few things in here, and again, if you didn't read this, you just totally miss it entirely. He used the rift to access the multiverse, i.e. multiple areas. So, are there multiple alternate dimensions in Tyria? Is this like going back to where the humans were before they came, the gods brought them here? Are there other realms and other planets and things that he visited? Nobody knows, because it's one line that ArenaNet probably completely forgot about, but it's there.
The thing I don't like about the term multiverse is that it always reminds me about that movie with Jet Li called The One, where like he's someone different someone in each like world, so in the multiverse, and he has to like kill himself in other worlds to gain power and stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, so he's like the multiverse.
I,
You're deadly.
I think of that Family Guy
Gently.
issue, back to the multiverse or something like that, where they like go through different animations, like one Disney, one Robot Chicken.
Yeah, that's fine. In one multiverse, Jolinar meets the Doctor. It's true. So I guess Lord Audrin was basically, he was the Doctor of Tyria.
But he was
Oh,
evil.
Oh, you. Oh, that was good. Anyway.
Man! Oh, why are
Um,
you not so gullible?
Isn't that what I'm here for?
Yeah,
Oh,
but you weren't quick enough.
at least you
ruined
know
it.
your face. Right, so that is Lord Audrin. I would love if somewhere in Guild Wars 2 we find even just his name anywhere. Or it would also be interesting if, there's like a quest, or maybe, I mean, he's dead. We know he's dead, but maybe we can go back in time through the mist, since they transcend space-time, and meet him before, and like maybe we go back and we stop him, and then nobody can enter the mist. But then we can't play world versus world. So
Isn't there a skill or an item that has a description with his quote on it?
maybe there is.
That's okay. I won't make you look, but while you talk, I'll try to search.
Okay. So next on the list is just a quick blurb of how we get access to the mists. Guild Wars 2, pretty easy. You you click at the top and go to the heart of the mists, and you're there. Hooray!
Yay!
You walk
Two
through
swords.
you hit B and you go to any part of World versus World, or you walk through an Asura gate, because it's that easy in Guild Wars 2.
Just
It's
make
all
sure you're
about
not in combat.
Yeah. Guild Wars 1, it was, well, I have to be lucky enough, I have to be Ascended, or Wayno Su, or whatever that stupid thing is when you're in Alona, where you have to beat the Hunted mission, which has nothing to do with Ascension, which I don't like at all. Then you either need to have one of the passage scrolls to either the Underworld or the Fissure of Woe, or if that's not the case, your server has to have Favor of the Gods. You need to go to one of the gods and then pay 1,000 gold to get there. 1 platinum to get there. So that's that. Or, in Guild Wars 2 you just walk through a portal or push a button. So, and I think Tully posted this. And yes, I guess I'll also mention that there was, I forgot about this. When they added the flux element to do with Mad King Thorn, they added one of the fluxes called Audrin's Razor, and the quote is, "Natural state of phenomenon is often the most revealing," and it's Lord Audrin, and the flux,
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
yeah, PvP combat is unmodified. So okay, so they didn't completely forget about him. Actually, wait, what?
That was in Guild Wars 1, though.
The
The
flux
flux
has
thing?
been introduced on January 1st, 2013.
What?
This flux was added like 9 days ago. So guess what? I was wrong. ArenaNet didn't forget about Lord Audrin.
Oh, but you know what? That's Dan's fault, because for those who don't know, Dan is basically the one who hosts our World versus World night on Wednesdays. 2 weeks ago, it kind of failed because there wasn't enough people, I think, or I'm not sure. And yesterday, what happened? Oh, he's on a different server. The freaking, he's on a different server.
No, I maybe I mistook that. I don't know. I'm gonna reiterate. That's still the flux in Guild Wars 1. Audrin Razor. That's a flux for Guild Wars 1 PvP, but they just added that flux to Guild Wars 1 9 days ago.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Guild Wars 2. Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
I knew it was Guild Wars 1, though.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a new thing dealing with Lord Audrin in Guild Wars 1 that they added 9 days ago. So I guess clearly they haven't forgotten about him.
But it's a wordplay on Occam's razor, which is like a kind of principle. Yeah. So I wonder if they're actually thinking about him, or it was just like, oh, we need something that plays along the same as that. So Occam's, Audrin's, it makes sense to put that in there.
That's true, but it does have a quote from him. Quote they made up. So anyway, accessing the myth.
Really happened.
Accessing the myths much easier in Guild Wars 2. I like the concept better in Guild Wars 1 with having the favor of the gods, but clearly there is no favor of the gods. There's also the human gods aren't the only. We're not just humans in Guild Wars 2. Although most of us are cool people. Anyway, so the next piece is Casey's going to talk about the Rift.
The Rift. So basically there's like a little bit from the Guild Wars manuscripts which really sums up what the Rift is. I'll just read it out for you. In the middle of the mist is a spot where time moves neither forward nor back. It is a tear in the fabric of the cosmos, the point of perfect balance between all forces of the universe. This place is known as the Rift, and there is nothing to which it does not connect, nothing that cannot be reached from inside it. Those who have the know-how to travel across the universe through the mist must pass through the Rift on their way to all other places. It is the center of all things. Okay, that was my nice, calm Miss voice.
I like that.
So yeah, it's basically the center of everything, and like probably I think the most important place in the mists, and it kind of acts as a lot of things. It's also a place for wherever the most important things are, but it's also like, I don't know, the train station, like, where all the trains have to, wherever you want to go, you have to go to this one and then go back out again to wherever you want to go. And also on top of that, the Rift is the final resting place of souls according to the theology of most races. And it has the following realms in it. The abode of the gods, which is the human gods of Tyria have their realms in the Rift, including the Fisher of Woe and which is the human god of war, Balthazar's realm. Balthazar's warriors are in a perpetual struggle against Menzies, Balthazar's brother's Shadow's army. And Grenth Domain is the underworld, which players of Guild Wars 1 were able to explore. But not much else is really known about the other gods' domain. So at least we know that they have their little home there. And then we also have Lagwyn explained the Hall of Heroes, which is like a location where mortal champions fight in a gladiator-style combat before the gods themselves in order to compete for the most valuable treasures. But I don't think that really happens anymore because the gods, I don't think, really bother about humans anymore. And where the souls of the great heroes rest. And it's also quite interesting because a drawer at one point says that the spirits of Norns, heroic Norns, go to the the Hall of Spirits. So the Hall of Heroes, Hall of Spirits is very similar.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I've got a little description here of the Hall of Heroes from the manuscripts. In the center of the rift, deep inside the mist, stands the imposing wall fortress known across the multiverse as the Hall of Heroes. So yeah, so it's that sort of, that place is also within the rift, and it also has the Great Forge, which is the final resting place of souls of the dwarves, which is very interesting. What I like is it's not, even though it has the realm of the gods, it's not just about the human gods, it's also about other races as well. And the Great Forge is also the seat of their deity, the Great Dwarf, or that's what they believe. Which makes sense, you know, if human deities can have a place in the rift, then so can a dwarf deity. Equality for all.
Well, I mean, it connects all and goes through all and all that stuff that I said at the beginning, so really everything has a place. I just, maybe some, it'd be interesting if some races have a place in the mist and they just don't know it.
Where does crits go?
Probably to
Presumably the mist.
To the shiny mist?
Yes. There's the shiny realm. And that's where this is great.
The Great Forge is like described as a place where there's like lots of crafting and production. So like for the Skrid, their place would be like just a place like mountains of shinies, and they get like little corners where they can hoard it. Like they just go into this massive place and hoard what they want. So that's what I think the Skrid are like.
But no, I think that's a bad idea though, because you know how if you put several scripts together, they become super intelligent. What if they get too intelligent? Like there's too many scripts around.
What's wrong with being too intelligent?
And then they rebel. Wow, let's kill all. And then they go extinct.
Well, I wonder if they go to...
I would be a horrible writer.
No, that is the best writer.
I think...
No, I just... Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I just exterminated a race. Like, I don't think
okay. Tyrian genocide isn't real genocide.
It's a shiny genocide.
I think a really good idea that they could use is that if there's a place in Rift for all the Skrit, then there's so many Skrit there from when, you know, when they've died and stuff like that, that they're so intelligent, they're kind of like these ascended Skrit, like really smart, kind of have this ethereal thing, and if a Skrit can have access to the rift, what stops them from having that intelligence from all the Skrits that are in the rift? So that could be like, I don't know, I'm really desperate for them to be a race, so if somehow the Skrit could have the like connection to the rift. Don't stop shaking your head, this is a thing, okay? It's a thing.
Look at me, left and right, left and right. There's not, it won't happen, Kaysee.
I want it to happen. No,
Wake up, Kaysee, because you're still dreaming. It's not gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
That's like wishing for Kodan to become a playable race.
Yeah.
Thank you, people online.
Kodan.
Like I said, Tengu. That's the next race. If you read the strategy guide, it says in there that they wanted to make it a six race game, but they realized that they needed to take them out to focus on completing the other races. And I mean, obviously, we have enough glitches in the game as it is. So I'm glad to kind of.
There's no glitches in Guild Wars 2.
Say what?
It's not me.
Yeah.
All my skill points are working properly.
Oh yeah, it's not like
it's
that.
not stopping
Like
me for world completion.
Metrica Province was down for 5 months, but whatever, it's fine.
Nope.
That frog. I want to go kill him again.
Yes, Tengu, then the Quarian underwater butterflies.
Oh my
I
god,
agree.
no!
Yeah.
I refuse underwater butterflies. I refuse it. If I can't have Skrit, we are not having
underwater
those.
butterflies.
I refuse.
You say that now, but you're gonna love them once they become playable.
And then we can make up cool names with apostrophes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Solid Jitleed, whatever her name is.
Salajili.
I have
I don't know
what
whatever her name is.
Follow me into the water where I follow and I show you the treasures.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Not
Ugh.
Korean underwater butterflies.
Who said that? The chat
Your
room?
husband.
My, of course, you'd have to mention Asian stuff.
Yeah.
Quarian. As in the race from Mass Effect that sounds identical to the Largos. Aquarian underwater butterflies. Anyway, back on track. The next thing on the list is the Mad Realm, and Casey's going to talk about that.
Yeah, so there's not really a lot on the Mad Realm. There's like tons on the Mad King, but there's not much on the Mad Realm. It's the home of the Mad King Thorn and is a section of the underworld. It is described as a place of death and tragedy, much like the life of its ruler. So that's Mad King. I just because you can't really talk about the Mad King without a little bit of information about him. The Mad King was actually once a Crichton king in the past. From a young age, he was a malicious and cruel. However, once killing his father to take the throne, he grew increasingly insane. He was famous for his cruelty and sadism towards his subjects. He was killed very beautifully. I'm sure it was beautiful. He was killed very brutally and now lives in the Mad Realm, desperately trying to reclaim his kingdom. So,
Sorry, Kaysee. So, how exactly do you kill someone beautifully? Oh, look at my dagger! Stoosh! I stabbed you.
Maybe it's a mesmer spell. It's all purple butterflies.
Yeah, that's true. My butterflies. Schlutter. Shudder. Anyways, I'm sorry I interrupted again.
yeah, so basically it says it's divided into 4 sections, which I think was kinda, I don't know if this is canon or not, or if this was just a mechanic for them to do really cool stuff on Halloween. But during Halloween 2012, we saw 4 sections of his realm. The Lunatic Inquisition, which was villagers being hunted by the Mad King's underlings, which is very, like, creepy. Like, when you think about it, they have to survive, and the fact that they get turned into the Mad King's underlings afterwards, it's very creepy. I remember playing it and like my heart was always beating really fast because I'm like, they're gonna come at me, they're gonna come for me, they're gonna come for me, my hammer's not enough. It was very hysterical during that whole thing.
I didn't play that.
It was really good, but it was kind of creepy. The Mad King clock tower. What is with my? Hang on, give me a second.
With your speaking ability?
La 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 la. Okay, no, let's try it now. The Mad King's Clock Tower, which is the jumping puzzle. The Reaper's Rumble, which was a PvP battle with skeletons. And the Mad King Labyrinth, which was a Halloween PvE sort of thing. So yeah, so there was those 4 realms, but I don't know how accurate they are as his realm. And we also got a dungeon called Ascent to Madness, which was basically where we fought the Mad King. I am Kaysee.
Well,
That robot. Oh, there you go. You're clear now.
you can never say anything when we want you to say things as replication.
I have to trick it into thinking I'm saying law, and then like somehow get in the robot bit.
We got the cake is a lie one time.
Yeah.
That was it.
So basically that's all I had about the Mad Realm. It's just a place, part of the underworld, where this horrible person lives and does like sadistic things and has his little minions, and it's Halloween themed. But there's also a little bit of trivia, and as much as I dislike Jal at the moment, I have to give kudos to Jal. The Mad King's clock is stuck at 7:45, a time our resident new Crichton decipherer hypothesizes is the time of the Mad King's death. So yeah.
I have to agree, just real quick, with Space Bear in the chat. You really don't want to hear Dan sing. Really. You're not going to have an option, because if you go in Raid Call, that's all you're going to hear whenever he's on.
What are you talking about? It's great.
If anybody says any lyric or main chorus to any song ever, he will sing it, whether you want him to or not.
I like it.
That's
I like
why there is a rule in my basement when my friends are over, more specifically Dan and Hedge, that there's a rule that you can't sing outside of playing Rock Band. So I make them leave and go out in the. They have to go out in the hallway, and then I shut the door, and then they can sing in the hallway all they want.
Wow.
Just quickly, some lore that Tully brought up. He said a small part of the Mad Realm was accessible in Guild Wars 1, which was called the Scarred Psyche. But there was really no lore about that. But we know that humans can jump in there without having to be ascended or anything anymore, so...
Yeah. We've grown weak and, lax in our ways to get to the mists over 250 years. Either that or the foundations of the mist are breaking down, as more of the seals from the Mad King are being broken, that it's easier to get to the mists. At least the Mad Realm, anyway.
Mm-mm.
So, Fissure of Woe is next on the list, which is, for those of you who don't know, is also called the Realm of War. It's the realm of Balthazar, the god of war. Human
It's
god.
the fissure of whoa.
How long were you waiting to say that? 'Cause I'm
I
pretty
know. I
sure-
just thought about it. Fissure. Whoa. Get that out of here.
I can imagine her being in bed, like, okay, this is our show notes. All right, Fissure of Woe. What kind of joke can I make with that? Fissure of
Fissure of
Woe.
Woe.
No. Fissure of Woe. Damn, I'm good, Naveen. Good job, Naveen. All right, gonna put that one down.
I'm not that self-centered. Okay. But you're
Anyway, so it's divided. The Fissure of Woe, FOW, is divided into 9 different kind of mini realms or sections within it. But just a description, it's basically what you think of when you think of any kind of post-apocalyptic world, all scarred earth, wreckage, battlefields everywhere, which makes me wonder if maybe it had something to do. We've always hypothesized about where the humans came from, and this is Balthazar's realm, is all post-apocalyptic and battlefieldy. And I mean, there's reasons why, but I would like to think that maybe that's kind of what wherever the humans came from look like. I don't know. We'll never know.
I think we will at one point, but
I
there's
hope
no
so.
time. Perhaps when all Elder Dragons are defeated.
Yes. It'll be our light in Guild Wars 2 when all the lights have gone out and all the dragons are dead. The Lord of the Dragons. Thank you for Kaysee for getting that. Yeah. Alright, so anyway, there's 9 different realms, like I said, mini realms. And they all have weird names. So one's the Burning Forest. This is in the northeast corner. There's not, to be 100% honest, I've never actually gone to the Fissure of Woe in Guild Wars 1. I just bought all of my obsidian shards so I could make my Fissure of Woe armor and didn't actually have to go play through it. So, I'm loving that I just can't keep up with the chat because it's scrolling so fast. So,
Wow, that was off topic.
it was.
I'm like, what?
I can't be contained, Naveen. I'm a force of nature.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, so Burning Forest is basically, apparently, it's where Menzies, who, if you remember from our God's Lore podcast from it seems like forever ago, is Balthazar's half brother, and he has this group called the Shadow Army, and they're there harvesting weapon materials. And again, because I've never played it, I don't know how that plays into the story, but I assume it's probably important. I don't know why they're harvesting weapon materials. Anyway, there's wolves and hydras and Shadow Army people there.
It's like Hodgins wanting his 5 pieces of the staff again.
The staff is broken. How about 5 pieces should do? Oh. Good. Glad you know exactly how much. And its staff is like this big, and you can dual wield them, or whatever.
That's right.
Hang on,
Hodgins, my man.
5 pieces, but there's 2 staves. One of them was broken unevenly.
Yep.
I know
So-
basic maths. Yay!
Yeah, educational too.
Praise me.
No, Burning Forest, it's pretty much it's a big burnt down forest with a big fire in the middle. There you go. Next realm. Fissure Shore. The images I've seen of it look pretty much like the Lost Shores, just there's a lot of wreckage on it's a beach basically. You have a burning forest, now you have a beach with a lot of shipwreck.
So the underworld is a beach. Oh, life is a. Oh, nope. Not going through.
Anyway, yeah, so it's a beach. There's some spiders, and there's scale, and there's snarling driftwood as a type of enemy. I'm guessing that's kind of like an seed. Next realm is the Forest of the Wailing Lord. This is the only part of the Fissure of Woe that is not like post-apocalyptic. It's actually lush and green and has trees. It's in the northwest corner, and this is governed by the Wailing Lord, his forest, and he allows the Eternal Army, which is Balthazar's army, and the Shadow Army, which is Menzies' army, to harvest the forest to fuel their war efforts.
Jeez, he's
So-
not helping, is he?
No, oh, he's Wailing Lord. I mean, I don't know what that means. But
It means.
I was thinking what Pirate was thinking, wailing as like.
Yar,
Yeah. I was trying to do whale noises. It just didn't come out. Roy.
I am Lord of Wailing.
Now my picture is Dory Finding Nemo.
Yeah, I know. I love Ellen. Anyways,
So next, the Great Battlefield. I don't really think I need to describe what that is.
are those great battlefields?
Yeah, it's the never-ending fight between Balthazar's army and his half-brother's army. Next, the Lake of Fire. We're just full of very descriptive parts on this. I'm sorry, I
What?
can't even get interested.
We're just full of very descriptive parts.
I can't really get interested in the Fissure of Woe at all because I don't like Balthazar at all.
Because
You
he said
don't?
the.
You weren't there for that one raid call thing that took 4 hours where I basically called him out as being just I made up new lore where he's just
Yeah.
dumb, stupid, and Thomas Engine does everything for him, and he's just big and strong but stupid.
Fear the fires of Balthazar. Yeah.
Oh, gotta love human female elementalists.
Yep.
Next, Spider Cave.
Spider Cave.
They have very descriptive. I think they started to run out of names for
They
toward-
could have called it like the. I don't know. I'm not a very good.
Arachnid.
Spider Cave. Like, it's not the Spider Cave, Spider Cave. Full of, you guessed it, spiders.
No.
Spider cave is a cave full of spiders. Ascalonian settlement is a settlement for the Ascalonian.
Nice one. I remember that. Oh, that was fun.
Then there's the Temple of War, also known as the Forge. So I wonder if this has anything to do with the Great Forge that Kaysee was talking about. I mean, it's Balthazar's realm, but maybe, Balthazar chills with the dwarves.
They're
I don't know.
Balthazar's Oompa Loompas.
So Balthazar is now Willy Wonka. Anybody else picked
My
up?
sword here's in your face.
He's got like that big purple top hat on top of all those spikes on the top of his head. And instead of like a great sword, it's a cane now, and he comes like stumbling out of the Mad Realm. Or the Fissure of whatever. Anyway. Alright. I've had enough of the Fissure of Woe. There's not much more there. It's stupid. So is Balthazar.
No.
Naveen, talk about something that's much more interesting. The Underworld.
The Underworld, or better known as the Underworld Realm of Death. Okay, let me grab my notes. Well, it is the realm of Grenth. We had a show about that. We talked about Grenth and Doom, and I can't remember which show that was, but yeah, it is the realm of Grenth, and part of the mists. It's represented by green portals everywhere around Tyria. And if you've played the human race so far, you probably noticed some of them in Queensdale, in the Godlust swamps, or swamp, where the Shadow Behemoth meta event happens. When the portals are open, you'll find Ataxes, or Ataxes. I've always called him Atax.
Sounds like a bank
and
name.
shades come.
Sounds like a bank name.
Come deposit your cash at Atax Bank. It is also said that flesh reavers and imps can appear through them. The underworld is sort of like this train station, I was going to say. Basically, when you die, Your character's soul gets sort of like shipped there, and this is where you're brought before you're sent to your final destination. Though there's cases where spirits end up elsewhere due to external forces. The underworld is divided in several sections, each governed by one of the seven reapers. You can actually meet one of them, the seventh reaper, in the Cathedral of Silence personal story missions towards the end-ish of your personal story.
70 plus, something like that.
Yeah.
Wise.
You either get to choose if you want to go there or somewhere else, but if you choose the Cathedral of Silence, then you get to meet the Seventh Reaper. They're represented by the avatar of Grenth, and they use the Lich form model during gameplay. Now, we mentioned this before, but before Grenth was the god of death, the underworld was the realm of doom, Dhuum. He was a really mean god and wouldn't let any resurrections happen and would hunt down anyone who cheated death in any ways. But since Grenth couldn't kill him, he imprisoned him instead within the Hall of Judgment, and then became the god of death. 250 years ago, so during Guild Wars 1, their realm was attacked by Doom's demonic army. Now,
Dad
in
issues.
Huh?
Nothing. Continue.
Okay. In Guild Wars 1, we could access the underworld because the gods were still there. And because we kept going in and out of the place, the barrier between the living realm and the underworld loosened and allowed Godlust Swamp and some other areas to be overrun with the portals I mentioned before. Also, because of this, Doom was repeatedly awakened from his imprisonment, and now his state is unknown. So we don't know if he's awake, if he's free, if he's still there, if he's going like, but I doubt he's in that. But we know that one thing's for sure, the underworld is where the Mad Realm resides, as Kaysee said, and we've seen during Halloween when the Mad King emerged from Lion's Arch and destroyed the statue that's currently being rebuilt. Also, parenthesis, what did you tell me about that statue, Kaysee?
Oh, that in the personal story I did with my alt, you know how you have an instance in that area. Well, when you go before you go in, the statue is like only like a quarter built. None of the line is built. And when I went into the instance and looked at the statue, half of the line was built now. So they're rebuilding it, but something went wrong. Like obviously in the system, like the full rebuilding stages are in there, but something went wrong when you go into instance area, and I saw ahead of what's going to be rebuilt in the further on. So it looks like it's exactly the same fountain. Maybe a bit shinier.
Sad. A bit tinier.
Shinier.
Oh.
Ding ding.
Ding ding. Okay. I wonder if that's going to be there soon then.
I would say so.
Back to the underworld. In Guild Wars 1, the underworld could be accessed through many means. The Chantry, that place of secrets. Temple
Order
of
of
Ages.
Place.
Yeah, the Order of Whispers. Tomb of the Primeval Kings, and there was like many other places. Now we've only witnessed one entry so far in Guild Wars 2, and that was through the Mad King during the Halloween event. But you know, I've been also thinking about that. Like, did something happen in the underworld when we put the Mad King back in there? Because no one has been able to activate the events that spawn in the Shadow Behemoth. You know, the place in the Godless Swamp.
Yeah.
For a long time now, and ANET seems to be pretty silent about that matter and won't fix the bugs, air quote, stopping the event from triggering the Shadow Behemoth.
Wow.
Did something happen lore-wise that would prevent the Shadow Behemoth to spawn, or am I just delusional and it's still bugged? Because no one has seen him.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, he's always dormant. You know,
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because ever since then, they've brought the caucus. So people were like going to whatever cove, South Sun Cove place,
Yeah.
and people are focusing on legendaries, and people are focusing on map completion, and then they brought the Winter's Day stuff. So like not a lot of people were looking for meta events, but like I've done my googling, and people are like, "What is? Are they just not working on it, or is something happened in the underworld when we put the Mad King back in there that would prevent the Shadow Behemoth to spawn again?"
Oh wow.
Which would be stupid, because isn't it like one of the achievement, if you defeat the Shadow Behemoth, you get an achievement for that?
Yep, it's like closing all the portals in like 20 seconds or something.
Yeah, but there's like 2 events that link to that.
Mm-hmm.
But these 2 events can't be started. They won't activate for some reason.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yep.
I think
But
it's a
that's about
pretty
the
big
underworld.
thing. Big thing for them to ignore just as a bug. Like it was working at one point, so it has to be working again. And to completely ignore such a massive selling point of the game, like the Shadow Behemoth is in so many videos, it
Yeah.
must be something
But
else.
then again, like, yeah. But then again, like what we were saying before, how they haven't fixed like some skill points, like they left skill points for a long time before they would fix it, and it's still, those things are really important. Shadow Behemoth, not so much, but I'd find it really interesting if it was linked.
For sure.
Also, I just want to point out in the chat that the COT drinking game is being developed right now.
Uh-oh.
So far, it's every time that we misspeak,
Oh my god.
drink.
If I'm on the show, people are going to be drunk like after 5 minutes of listening. It's not a good idea. So
I love it, actually, because I'll just get to watch the drunk comments change as time goes on.
Oh my gosh.
And we can just make it, like, really bad if we want to. But anyway,
we don't even
back
have.
back to the underworld.
Yeah. I'm done.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you, Naveen.
You're welcome.
Next on the list is Fractals of the Mist. We talked about that last episode, so just check episode number 29 if you want to get some more information on that. Next, I'm going to talk about the Heart of the Mists, and anybody else can feel free to jump in whenever they see fit, because I don't really play SPVP, but more or less what we know about the PvP section of Guild Wars 2 is it's the Mists replicating past important battles, and you're essentially replaying them with your character. And that's that whole space-time thing that they can do. Like the Battle of Kylo is an older battle that was significant, and I don't remember if we know too much about the lore behind it, other than that it was like during the early beta of Guild Wars, Kylo was an outpost in Ascalon, and it was changed to Ascalon City later on. So it was apparently a fortress in Ascalon, home of the legendary guild Ascalon's Chosen. During Guild Wars, it was besieged by the zealots of Shiver Peak, and Mordecai can be seen among the ranks of Ascalon's Chosen. So that was a previous battle, and we're kind of reliving that every time you go to the Battle of Kylo and play there. So
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Cassandra. I wanted to speak too fast. In the chat room says, I think it was something to do with the original Guild Wars with Devana's father.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look into that.
No, I remember Devana was always trying to live up to her father's kind of legend, because he was part of the that guild.
Interesting.
I'll just run through the other kind of names of the other battle places. Wow, drink. The other maps in SPVP. One's the Forest of Niflhel, and I don't know outside of Norse mythology. Niflhel is the I think that's the realm where people go if you're like not a traitor, but like not a good place to go if you have like an unheroic death. That's where you go is Niflhel. And the only other reason I kind of know anything about that is because of Marvel mythology with Thor. Like, there's the different realm. There's Asgard, and then there's Niflheim, and all the different, uh,
I'll have to talk to the writers of, Guild Wars 2 if they focus on other mythology a lot. Marvel mythology, like crazy?
No,
Usually it's like
based on
Greek mythology.
Norse mythology is what Thor is based off. And they also do it with the Bifrost
Yeah.
as well. Is off
Mm.
the Norse. Oh, there's another drink. Of Norse mythology.
yeah. Yes, and Space Bear in the chat points out, and that's actually where I knew Niflheim from. That in the Avengers, the new Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, that's where Captain America went. He's there. Yes. So, yes, and Jotunheim is where the Frost Giants are from. So, like, this is the only reason I know anything about this.
Cassandra sent us a link to the battle for Kylo, and it's day 1. So there's a lot to read there.
Yeah, maybe we'll write up something on this.
Yeah.
Do like a little lore kind of article, because there's a lot here. There's actually a pretty cool thing to deal with the Rift as well. So maybe we'll write something up for that too. So thank you, Cassandra, for linking us that, and we will, rather than take up your time now, we'll do that later. Next is Legacy of the Foe Fire, which right in the name itself, tells you that it takes place in the past. It's based, and if you go into it, it looks a lot like the old Guild versus Guild and Guild Wars 1. And we obviously know the Foe Fire happened in the past, and this is, it's very kind of green and lush and very similar to, I don't want to say pre-Searing Ascalon, but I think pre-Searing Ascalon. I've never, again, I don't SPVP, so I haven't been there, so I don't know if you guys have.
Well, we started the SPVP nights.
Yeah.
And I mean, we did it like twice, so I don't know. Sorry.
It was very mountainous, which wasn't like Ascalon.
Okay, well, you've been there more than I have, Kaysee, so I can't really talk about it. I know you have a guild lord. That's about it. That was your segment
that was
to
for me.
talk about it.
Although
Drink.
I don't remember the scenery, I was too busy trying to beat people. Like, I think Aaron, the thing I remember most about it was Aaron and that freaking hammer. He kept on beating me around with it. So, yeah. I don't remember the
He's
scenery.
impossible to kill.
Alright, next is Raid on the Capricorn, which I know literally nothing about. I think that's on a boat, I believe. Or it's like
I'm on the boat.
It's on a beachy area, isn't it? And there's an underwater capture point as well.
Yeah, there's underwater ruins. So, obviously, the Capricorn.
It reminds me of Kryta's Beaches in Guild Wars 1.
Yeah, I'm trying to think that name, other than the obvious astrological meaning of Capricorn. What was the name of that ship that Captain Magnus the Bloody-Handed stole? They talk about it I think in Destiny's Edge.
The
Or
Black
Edge of Destiny. Yes, the Black Pearl. I'll get back.
Let's commandeer that ship.
Yeah, because it said I remember they talk about it in the book. So.
Is it the Black Pearl?
No.
There's like hundreds of boats named the Black Pearl.
Why? Why would you call it the Black Pearl? Why not call it the White Pearl? The Shiny Pearl?
Because the
Black Pearl is the rarest pearl.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why don't you just call it
You were just told by Naveen and me. Come on now.
Why not call it
I'll leave that up to
Shiny
Jal.
Gold or...
Cormorant, thank you, Jal. As soon as I said it, Jal posted in the chat, the Cormorant. So not the Capricorn. Next and final one is Temple of the Silent Storm, which is on the Kodan Sanctuary, which I've heard pretty cool things about. Again, I don't know SPVP, so I've never been there.
It's pretty cool.
What joke? Our sanctuary is sinking. Watch your step. Our sanctuary is sinking.
Is that a continual thing from an end?
Oh my god.
Honor waves.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
waiting at the waypoint for everyone to show up. And then there's
That's
this
right.
code and watch your step. Our sanctuary is sinking.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think it's
boy.
going to explode.
Oh, he says brace yourself.
Oh, nice.
Watch out for the
Yeah.
fireball.
Yeah.
Watch out. Fireball incoming.
Oh, okay. Next
I
one.
want a ringtone with Logan's voice.
I'm gonna for you. I'll find a way to make that happen.
What phone do you have?
Yes, Dan. I don't show up for SPVP night the one time that it happened. I think I was here on Tuesday and it didn't happen. So just past Tuesday, and I was here for World v World night and it didn't happen yesterday either.
Yeah, well, I think it's because like a lot of people are just coming back from the holidays. So and oh, by the way, COT Chronicles of Tyria, I'm talking to you people. We have an event calendar that you guys can look up on the forums to see what happens weekly. So yeah,
Gotta get Casey's husband on making a link at the top for that.
Huh.
All right. So next up is World versus World. I'm not going to talk much about this because we don't really know much about World versus World. I mean, why we're fighting in the mists, why we're fighting other servers. If you go way back to our interview with Crackbone and Temperhoof, we talked about it then and how we didn't know why. So there's really no lore about it. Yeah, Naveen's very intrigued by Casey's cat. Looks like.
Sorry.
No,
I'm
good.
She just came
Okay.
in, and I normally close the door, but I can't resist her when she comes up to me.
Alright, next. Oh my god, more. Ruins of the Tombs of the Primeval Kings. Alright, so, again, and this is, I feel bad, another one that I have no knowledge about, because I never did Tomb of Primeval Kings. So, chat, feel free to correct me when I'm wrong, also be ready to drink. So, I know the ruins of the Tombs of the Primeval King was basically, and there were 4 areas in it. There was an access to the underworld, the Hall of Heroes, and then like there's Scarred Earth and Courtyard. But I don't know. Lag squared, yes.
Do you guys want me to
It's 'cause
try to fix your
our-
videos?
No, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yes. I'll be back.
Alright, anyway. Ironically, neither has the rest of the guild. Yeah, Tigress, I think you're right. Okay, right. So back. Whoa, Naveen's picture. And alright, so
Yay!
So let's talk a little bit about the Tomb of the Primeval Kings. So again, I don't know much about. I'll read you the history. It's actually pretty informative. It has a lot to do with Alona, and I think it has actually the kings of Alona, and I actually proved myself right when I read this.
Yay.
So the primeval kings of Alona were buried here from 229 DR until 625 DR, because you got to remember the Alonians use a different calendar than the Tyrians, and it's dynastic reckoning is their calendar, which is different than the Mavelian calendar that Tyrians use. So they were buried here from 229 DR until 652 DR, when the Scarab Plague decimated the population of Istan and wiped out the royal house of the primeval dynasty. 400 years later, here he comes back, our buddy Lord Adrin opened a portal from here to the rift. After he died, the portal could be accessed by anyone, and mortals would travel regularly into the mists to battle each other for the favor of the gods. This arrangement lasts for 200 years until just after the Winter's Day celebrations in 1272 DR. The forces of Doom and Abaddon interrupted the tournament. They defeated the spirits of War Marshal Tarai, Lord Victo, and the primeval monarchs, and began to slip through Adrin's portal into the mortal world. By this point, they had attracted the attention of both the Zaishan Order and the Order of the Sun Spears, who fought back the darkness. As compensation for destroyed tournament grounds, the Zaishan have offered access to their home with battle isles for all stranded fighters. On these isles, another portal opened by Audrin in Hero's Ascent lies ready for use. The chat is getting interesting. That's all Naveen's fault. And I believe, Kaysee, you mentioned this before with the Tomb of Primeval Kings was accessible. Part of it was accessible. It's always accessible. I don't know what I'm saying. It's decorated for Halloween, though. It's one of the few things that gets decorated for Halloween. That's not one of the main cities. I think it's Draknar's Forge, Tomb of Primeval Kings.
Yeah, that's true. And the moon is super huge over there.
Yeah, and it looks like a big skull, like a red skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have much more about that, really, because, again, this isn't something that, unfortunately, I don't have much knowledge about, because I've never been there, and obviously I'm not going there now. Well, you never know. Guild 2 keeps lagging out and being crazy.
You know, all these places and all these battles that we're talking about, most of them we can replay them. Like I've been reading in the chat room also, they keep mentioning Terai Osa. There's these books. I can't remember if it was like I think we had to buy the air quote expansion thing.
Yeah, the
and you can
mission pack.
Yeah, exactly. And you could relive Gwen's story when she was abducted by the Char, and you know, that Terai Osa thing, and all these. I forgot that we could actually. Oh, now I want to go back in Guild Wars 1 and see what it was.
You know you want to go in and play Master Togo.
Rather Menlo.
Lag, do you want to just turn off your video and turn it on again through Skype?
Fine.
Your lagging is annoying everyone.
Well, that's only appropriate.
Oh.
Get it? I'm lagging.
We've got no video at the moment.
I don't know what that is. It's like a part of a picture of the Chronicles of Tyria symbol. Alright, I think I should be back, maybe.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Tully says, bonus mission pack with Terai Osa's mission was his defeat of Paolo Joko.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, I really hope to see him again. And we'll probably will once the way opens to Ilona. But I really want to see Paolo Joko again.
That would be awesome.
Even though he was a bad guy, he was so funny and sarcastic. I loved it.
He was great. Well, like I said, we just brought him back, and we're like, have fun. See you later. Now, we know you're an evil undead lich, but thanks for helping us stop Abaddon. Peace out. Hope you don't destroy Ilona. We're going back to Tyria. Bye.
Yeah, I wonder if the people of Ilona are really pissed at people at Kryda.
Yeah, because obviously Paolo Joko took over all of Ilona, dammed the Elon River, and it's like, screw you guys.
And killed half of them.
Yeah. So, right. So that's my little bit on the Ruin of the Tombs of Primeval Kings. If you guys are more interested by somebody who's actually played it, Wooden Potatoes has a Let's Play where he goes through both. He does it, it's 2 parts, and he goes through it and does all the missions. So I would highly recommend checking that out. Okay, we're getting to the end of the actual content here. So Winter's Day, Dwayne versus Granth. It takes place in the mists. I mean, it was just, that's pretty much it. You played it, you played it. If not, you can't play it anymore because we have stupid ticks instead of awesome fights between the gods.
Okay, who misplaced the mistletoe? I'm not having a brainstorm. I'm having a brain hurricane.
Oh,
Yeah,
that will always be like nostalgia from the first Winter's Day. Would be like, okay, who misplaced the mistletoe?
If he comes back next year, I'm gonna be okay. That's really redundant.
Yeah.
Stop
And
it.
he has it a whole year. Why couldn't you find the damn mistletoe? Just shut him up already.
No.
And the last little bit, I guess, we'll talk about is another one that I'm, again, not very familiar with, and I feel Naveen would be more than I is the Realm of Torment, which is actually a full-on playable area that you get to play in Nightfall, and that's technically part of the Mists as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And it sucks. I hate it. It's hard. Even when I bring Master Togo, it's not working right.
but yeah, there's a bunch of different missions and things within the Realm of Torment. It's Abaddon's realm. So technically, we have the realm, Fissure of Woe, which is Balthazar. We have the Underworld, which was Grenth, and we have the Realm of Torment, which was Abaddon's realm. And there's all the other gods. And actually, at one point, ArenaNet said they were planning on am I a robot?
Robot Lagwyn.
Oh man, that's a first.
Radio. It's crazy.
I know, that usually never happens.
Who's stealing your bandwidth? Hey, who's messing with you? Is it your wife?
Probably.
Go beat her.
You're an awful person. I mean, no, you're great.
Go beat her some eggs for dinner. What I meant.
Go make her a nice quiche.
So am I back? Am I working again?
Yep, you're fine.
Yes.
Yeah, alright. So, yes, as Tully pointed out, yeah. When Cormyr took over for Abaddon, it was changed to the Redeem Realm, no longer the Realm of Torment. But ArenaNet had planned on making a realm for all of the gods. But I think it was in, like, January of 2011. I think Gale Grey was like, yeah, we're not doing that. So, sorry. So, they all do have a realm, but we haven't seen them. Maybe we'll get to see them in Guild Wars 2, but probably not, unless, you know.
I just want Gil Halls. That's all I'm asking.
Maybe. I hope so. We're saving up all that influence for nothing right now. Not that we
Yeah.
can really do anything with it anyway, but
We always have stuff up,
yeah.
but yeah. Anyways,
Right. So, yeah. Right. So I think that's pretty much it for our main content. Now we just have our little discussion piece here.
yay! I love discussions.
Yeah. So, do you think? I think we all kind of have the same agreement on this, but do you think we'll see more of the Mists in Guild Wars 2?
Yes. It's a very good plot device.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, as you mentioned last time, it fills all the plot holes.
It does. It's perfect. It's like heaven and hell.
It's just like dragons and magic fill everything else. The Mists fill the rest of it.
Yeah.
Wait. When an elder dragon dies, where in the mists does it go?
Elder Dragon Realm? I don't know.
Where's Glint? She dead. She dead. She's in there.
Whatever
Maybe
her
she-
previous race was, she would go to that realm for them.
Well, wouldn't Glint? Maybe Glint would go to the Hall of Heroes
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
because technically, you know, she died a heroic death trying to, you know, and it was redemption, coming back from being a minion of an Elder Dragon to fighting an Elder Dragon. So
So we know that all races go to the mist to their own thing. We figured the scrits go to the shiny place. The dredge go to the stupid ugly rat stuff place mole. And then there's a lot. Centaurs. Is there a place for horses? Because I mean there's no horses in Tyria, but there are centaurs.
Maybe the centaurs killed them.
that's like half of their parents.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
know, but the
like,
Kodan don't think polar bears are their parents.
Yeah, but whatever. Anyway, so but there's at least polar bears and bears in existence. We don't know anything about the centaurs, theological, what they believe religion-wise, where they came from, the great horse, or whatever, you know.
The great horse. The great stallion. The Italian stallion. No, wait a second.
I like Dan's suggestion. Maybe Glint will become like Obi-Wan, and she'll come back with a magic ghost body and instruct us through the use of the Force.
Yeah.
She'll be like a ghost from the mists, because the mists are the Force. So she'll come back. to.
The writers at ArenaNet must have so much fun just writing about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I wonder
Let's
how.
bring back some Jedis.
Yeah, because they could you make the Azura like make something like a lightsaber. The Azura so have the technology to do that.
Talked about it last night. Lightsabers and Tyria. Once everybody else starts stealing ideas like jumping puzzles from ArenaNet and Guild Wars 2. But anyway.
Speaking
yes.
of jumping puzzles, what's up with WoW stealing jumping puzzle idea from Guild Wars 2? Come on! Are you really that desperate? First pandas, now jumping puzzles. Next thing you'll know, it's like map completions, and then they're gonna have their own versions of
Dynamic
mists.
events.
Oh yeah, dynamic events.
We're gonna have
They're not
server
gonna
versus server versus server. That's what we'll call it. SVSVS.
Yeah, exactly.
In WoW. WOW SVSVS.
Anyways.
Anyway, yes, I agree. I think ArenaNet would be stupid to not allow us more access to the mist. We know we're going to see more fractals, so right there's more access to the mists. So what do you think we guys are going to see? We're going to see access to old stuff that we did see previously, like the Underworld, like Fissure of Woe, like Redeemed Realm or Realm of Torment, whatever it was, or you think they're just going to start coming up with random new stuff?
But I'm really looking forward to seeing Prince Rurik again. Yes. And all the other gods, of course, they're cool too. But Prince Rurik.
All right. Kaysee, what about you?
Heroes.
I think that they will be more inclined to rely on old things, but then use the mists when they want to introduce new things as a good reason. For example, Fractures of the Mist was a really good way to use the mist mechanic and also explain why we're going to random short places. Like, you couldn't really explain away the fact that we were doing very short instances, so they used this mechanic to make a very interesting dungeon by randomizing instances by using the mist. So I think they'll like to rely on old things, like reintroduce the Underworld, reintroduce Fissure of Woe, that sort of thing. Maybe, I don't know if they're really going to move away from the gods because of the races, but I think it would be good. I think they would like to rely on old things just so that the Guild Wars 1 players have nostalgia, and to the people who didn't play Guild Wars 1, it still seems like new content to them.
You think, but that's all human oriented.
Yeah, it's related to that. When the gods come back, like the human gods, what are the Chars gonna do? Like, they're always like, oh, you're human gods, they're nothing, and blah blah blah.
We win.
Like, yeah.
Goodbye, Char.
Nah. There's some catnip.
Well, the fact is that the human gods still exist. They're still there, and just because the human gods, we interact with the human gods or we talk to the human gods, doesn't mean that they're going to give us the same powers that they used to, and it doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're going to try and obliterate the Char again. We could just go and visit them, and they're like, "Hey, bro, what you doing here?"
Hey, bro. Yeah, that's how they talk. Hey, bro, what you doing here, bro? I pray to the spirits of the wild, but they rarely answer.
I'm trying to figure out what god. I feel like Melandru. She's the goddess of nature. She might be like, "Sup, bro? How you doing?"
Oh, she's the hippie god?
Yeah. I love my new lore that I'm building for the human gods.
I want to make a script
Balthazar.
god.
What?
I want to make a
wanna make a
script god.
It's just like it's just like a mirror. Really
It's
shiny.
Yeah.
I'd find one all over Tyria. Oh, that's all the temples to worship their shiny god. Reflective mirrors. Alright, so do you think that we kind of already talked that we think we're going to see areas related to the other races if we do go into the mists. What do you think about travel outside of Tyria, the world, through the mists?
I don't like that
we know
idea.
the humans came from elsewhere. Will we get to go back to our homeland?
That sort of
I'm not sure.
that sort of
And so with
instance
gods,
maybe, but I think Tyria is big enough, and they don't need to make it any more convoluted. There's another drink. I think that maybe perhaps they'll maybe explore where we came from if they even do that. But apart from that, they've got no reason to leave Tyria.
I think it would be really far-fetched. It's like, we have nothing to talk about anymore. Let's go to another world and explore there.
I agree with Tully, who said the problem is that devs seem to think there are people who play other races other than humans.
There's a lot of humans, man.
I feel like it would be cool if they did, like, whatever expansions they're doing, they have planned where we get additions to new, like, fighting more dragons and new areas. But I think it'd be cool later on if they did, like, racial expansions, like a human expansion and a Char expansion, one for all the races that further, like, delves into their storyline, stuff like that. But okay, my favorite part. What do you think about traveling through time? Like, we know in Guild Wars 1 for April Fools, through the mists, we had the Terminator storyline, where the guy took us back to pre-searing and we all had, like, grenades and stuff. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
You
Well-
think we'll see something like that?
Well, we already see stuff like that. They're visions. They're not really,
Right.
traveling through time. But if we do get to travel through time, then we'll basically have the chance to change some stuff in the world, which would be way too big for ArenaNet to work on, I think. Like, we can travel through time through visions, like we already do, like we visited Ore before,
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not sure. Like, this is in...
Trahern's personal story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, alright. And this kind of ties into it. What do you think, totally unrelated, but possibly related, what do you think, and Tully kind of beat me to saying it, and so did Jal. Jal won't be able to. April Fool's Day this year, Guild Wars 2. Do you think we're going to... My hopes are time travel through the mists, and we get to play the Commando class that they made all the stuff for in the April Fool's video from like 2 years ago. You remember that?
That'd be
No.
awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't remember the Commando but this is before they released all the classes, when they were still, like, we only knew, like, 4 classes.
Oh, well, you know what? Like 2 years ago, I was pregnant and wasn't paying attention to the internet at all.
She had
Well,
baby brain.
Get your priorities in order. Guild Wars.
No. Flag.
Posting it in the chat.
No.
But that would be
Yes.
a really great idea to be a commando. I think that would be awesome. And it'll be
There,
very
I
easy to
posted it in
do
the
since I
chat.
have the skins. The skills are pretty the engineer.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they already put in the models for the helicopters, the night vision, and stuff like that. I mean, nothing would be better than rolling up to the Shatterer like they do in the video and calling in Apache helicopters to blow it up.
Oh my gosh.
So I would be very excited if we got to travel into the future or the past or whatever it is that lets us play as the Commando.
I love this. They have a down to a state ability to crawl closer to allies and can revive them.
Nice.
And they also have, I mean, like, ArenaNet, I don't know if you guys have ever seen them, like, out at conventions or anything where they have, like, the arena jerseys are, like, A.R.E.N.A. Like, that's based off of the Arena Commando class. So, like, that they made up for that video. So they wear, like, shirts and stuff that look kind of like that body armor because they thought it was such a cool idea.
That's cool.
I mean, like I said, the
I don't know what
models
they're
are in the
gonna do.
game. So that was cool.
I don't know what they're gonna do for this year though, but I'm really really looking forward to it.
During character creation, the commando must state what Call of Duty game they prefer.
Nice.
That would be great.
There's so many possibilities with Guild Wars that there's just they can really do anything they want, I feel, and just depending on how big they want to make it.
Well, I think that pretty much covers everything.
Yeah, I think so. We're at just about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's good
it'll be
length.
good. Yeah. So, all right.
That's what you said.
What up? So if nobody has anything else, oh God, if nobody has anything else that they want to say, Naveen, you got anything you want to say?
I want to say, love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Kaysee, do you have anything that you want to say?
No. You put me on the spot. I was thinking about my cat.
Clear. All right. Then you don't get a chance. So for episode 30 of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast, I'm Lagwyn.
I'm Kaysee.
And I'm Naveen.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Outro music.
Do, 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 do.